Greetings everyone, and I hope the collecting gods are smiling on you wherever you are. And welcome back to the channel for not one, but two 1/6 scale figure unboxing and reviews. And today it's the turn of the highly anticipated Horror of Dracula exclusive double pack, courtesy of Kautic Plastik, containing none other than Mr. Christopher Lee and Mr. Peter Cushing. The review will take the usual well-trodden path, starting with a quick look at this enormous box. Then it'll be down onto the table for a look at all the accessories that come with the figures. Then it will be out with the fearless vampire hunter and the Prince of Darkness himself for a close-up look. And then we'll be wrapping the whole thing up with the usual showcase at the end. But before we get into it, shout outs and background, and a massive shout out to everyone who's subscribed to and supported the channel since it's first started. Just over a year ago. Your response has been amazing. Give yourselves a pat on the back and thank you very much. And to all of those of you who are watching but not subscribing, and I know there's a lot of you out there, come on, take the plunge and mash that subscribe button and bell notification icon. It's cost and pain free. You'll never miss any of the content coming up on the channel, and you'll be making an old collector very, very happy. So everybody wins. So, background. Regulars to my channel will know I am a huge horror movie fan, and you'll know my feelings regarding the classic Hammer movies. Also, you'll know I'm a huge fan of Caustic Plastik, quite simply put, in my opinion. They're one of the best, if not the best, 6-scale figure manufacturer operating at the moment. It's not just the quality of the likenesses and the attention to detail and the outfits, but it's the subject matter as well. In a world overflowing with DC, MCU and Star Wars figures, Caustic Plastik deliver in spades the figures I want in my collection, and I'm more than a little excited to see their take on Messrs. Cushing and Lee. And I think it's testament to KP's uniqueness as well, Caustic Plastik's uniqueness, that I have more pre-orders with them than any other company, including Lon Chaney, Chuck Norris, Toshiro Mifune, and a raft of others as well. But that's enough of my Caustic Plastik fanboy ramblings. Onto this box, and a huge box it is too. As mentioned at the top there, this is the exclusive edition, and rather than packaging it in two separate boxes, what Caustic Plastik have done here is given us both figures in this one shoebox design. Just about managed to fit this into shot, but I am quite some distance from it. I will try and manhandle it around so you can see the details here. But as always with Caustic Plastik, the presentation is absolutely on point. I am loving this box. What you've got on the front here are obviously two images, one on the left, one on the right, or one of Christopher Lee, one of Peter Cushing, and they are, I believe these are actually stills from the film, which have been stylized with this sort of ink blot stroke smoke type effect around the edges here, done in black and white, really bold, really effective, and just smacks of high end as most Caustic Plastik packaging normally does. So yeah, you've got Dr. Van Helsing here, Dracula here in red, and it says Christopher Lee as and Peter Cushing as. Top left-hand corner says Horror of Dracula. Top right-hand corner, exclusive luxury pack, 1/6 action figure. You've got the Hammer logo down here, obviously an officially licensed product. And you've got Infinite Statues and Collectibles and Caustic Plastik's logo down here as well. Now, I'm going to try and manhandle this into shot. If I can't get it all in, I do apologise, but it is a huge box. On the left-hand side here, you've got a list basically of all the bits and pieces that come with the Van Helsing figure itself, including the 3 head sculpts, all the clothing, accessories, etc. And at the bottom here, you've got the credits again, Infinite Statue, Caustic Plastik, etc. That's repeated on the right-hand side of the box, only this time it actually is the details and the features and what's included with the Dracula figure. Although I think there's been a typo here, and I'm not sure if the camera's quite catching that. It says 13 lifelike hand-painted head sculpts. Pretty sure that should read 3. I don't think there are 13 head sculpts in this box. It'd be nice if they are, but I doubt that very much. So, top and bottom of this box. I will try and get the bottom in the box. This box literally has just come through the door, brand new to me. I've ripped it out of the hands of the UPS delivery guy. So the figures are still in here, and I haven't seen them yet. But what you've got underneath, and it is very heavy, what you've got underneath there is Christopher Lee as Dracula in that same Gothic font, 1/6 scale action figure, and it just says Professor Van Helsing in exactly the same way on the top there as well. You have to take my word for that. If I try and lean this box forward, I'll do myself a mischief. So there you have it. Oh, we didn't check the back. Let's spin it round and try not to knock the camera over. What have you got on the back here? Okay, so on the top here, it says limited edition exclusive luxury pack, 1/6 scale action figure. You've got a rundown of the film itself. If you're wanting to read that, feel free to hit pause. You've got the artists, everybody involved in the production of these figures, and all the credits and warnings. Don't piss this figure off, or you might wake up with a serious chest pain from a wooden stake. But yeah, there you have it. That's the box itself. Very big, very bold, very impressive, and very high-end looking. Like I said, as we've come to expect from Kautic Plastik. So, without further ado, let's get this shoebox open. Let's get all the accessories out. Let's dive down onto the table and have a look at everything that comes with the figures. Okay, so here we are, down on the table with all the accessories that come with your Horror of Dracula figures. And there's a hell of a lot to go at here. And I will say from the get-go, I make no apologies for the length of this video. There's a lot of accessories, there are 2 figures, there's a lot to look at, so it takes as long as it takes. And also, a quick aside, I've just spent the past 15-20 minutes between takes with my head stuck in the box. The smell is fantastic. As collectors will know, that new figure smell, and it comes in spades with this figure, simply because both are packaged together in the same box. But that's enough of my weirdness. On to the accessories. So, what have we got here? Well, in the right corner, the blue corner, we have Professor Van Helsing, and in the left-hand corner, the red corner, we have Count Dracula. So we will start with Van Helsing. What we'll do actually is we'll take a look at the bases first, because they are very, very similar. We'll bring in the Van Helsing base. Now, people who are used to Caustic Plastik will know this type of base. It's pretty much standard issue now with their figures. It's a hollow plastic base, quite thick, magnets underneath there, magnets in the feet of the figure, so no need for a crotch grabber or a waist grabber with this, as it'll be freestanding. Yeah, on the bottom here we have Caustic Plastik, we have Action Deluxe figure. It says Infinite Statue, designed in Italy. You've got 4 felt feet on here, which is great to see, so that minimises the chances of it slipping or moving around in the display, which is good to see. As I say, it's a hollow plastic. On the top you've got this thick sort of card stroke, well, I'm going to call it card, which is stuck to the top here, and it's pretty simple design. Looked sort of designed to look like a stone floor of some description, with some blues and some greys. This sort of hexagonal stone floor looked very simple, very bold, very effective, quite dark, nothing too fancy, so it doesn't detract from the figure. And on the front, you'll be forgiven for thinking this is metal. It's not, it's plastic. It's the actual nameplate itself. It's got this sort of Horror of Dracula bat shape to it, and it says Horror of Dracula in there and Van Helsing underneath. And there's also what looks like some dry brushing across there, across the front of it, to give it some sort of depth, age it a little bit, and to pick out that lettering. So yeah, that's the Van Helsing base. The Dracula base, as I say, almost identical. The only difference being it says Count Dracula on it rather than Van Helsing. Simple as that. So yeah, those are the 2 bases. We'll pop those to one side. Let's crack on with the Van Helsing accessories. Now, there's a pair of hands already on the figure, a pair of gloved hands. They're all gloved with the Van Helsing figure. Both figures themselves come with 8 hands, 4 pairs in total. We'll dive in and pick a couple at random. There are fisted hands for Van Helsing. As I said, they're all gloved. Now, the sculpt here is on point, what you come to expect from Caustic Plastik. The stitch work is there in the gloves, those creases at the wrist area. There's creasing brought out by these paint applications. There's sort of this deep blue, turquoisey colour. Yeah, the stitch work in the back there is really good. Just overall, very, very well done. Let's pick another one at random. This is the open palm hand. I believe there's a couple of gripping hands already on the figure itself, but we'll take a look at those when we bring it out. And it's the same level of paint and sculpt here. Very, very well done. And the plastic itself is a soft to medium, which is really nice to see. My preferred sort of tension, shall we say, in an action figure's hands for gripping accessories. So yeah, that's an open palm hand. There's two fisted hands. There's these gripping hands, which I am assuming are for the hammer, the crucifix, etc. Maybe the candle holders as well. So yeah, all sculpted and painted to the same high standard. So yeah, that's the gloved hands for Van Helsing. So we'll pop those to one side. So what else do you get with him? Let's take a look at the candlesticks. Now, those who have seen the movie will know exactly what these are used for. Van Helsing holds them in the final scene of the film to form a crucifix, hence why there's no candle attached to them. But yeah, they're all one piece of sculpted plastic. You get a pair of them, and relatively straightforward. But what's good here is what really stands out here are the paint applications that are designed to look like almost like patinaed brass. If the camera's catching this, if the light's catching it, you can see there's sort of black areas, and then the copper stroke brass paint applications as well, and that's continued up the body of the candlestick itself, and it gives it that metallic feel, although they are actually plastic. Once again, you'd be forgiven for thinking that these are actually metal from a distance, but yeah, screen accuracy is on point, paint applications are great, sculpt on point. So yeah, that's the pair of candlesticks. Let's take a look at his crucifix. This 1/6 scale crucifix has a metal chain, which is nice to see, and I believe that this crucifix at the end here is plastic. It feels like plastic. I could be wrong. I'll try and get it into shot here. Now, I can't remember whether this was actually wooden in the film. I think it was wooden. But the paint applications on there are nice. It actually looks more metallic with these paint applications, so I need to go back and double check. But yeah, nice to see a metal chain there. So that's your crucifix. Hammer and stake. We'll start with the hammer. All one piece of sculpted plastic, very, very nicely done. The handle's been painted really well to replicate wood with that graining on there. And those washers to give that wood-like effect. The head of the hammer itself has been really well weathered. Once again, it's got similar paint applications to the candlesticks to make it look chipped, warm, patinaed, and a little bit battered. So you've got these sort of black flakes on here showing the silver underneath, and overall just really nicely done. Stake itself, all one piece of sculpted plastic, and it's the same story as the hammer handle. It's got that sculpt in there and those washers to give it that wood effect. So yeah, that's your 1/6 scale stake. So hammer and stake to one side. The last things that come with the Van Helsing figure are the two swap out head sculpts. Now, there's one already on the figure. We'll take a look at that when we bring it out, as we always do. So we'll pick one at random here, and we'll start with this one. Now, this is the first time I've seen this head sculpt. This is the grimacing head sculpt, the action head sculpt, and I have to say, I think Kautic Plastik have hit another home run with this. That is very, very good. First impressions are absolutely spot on. I'd already seen these head sculpts prior, photographs of these head sculpts prior to pre-ordering this, and I have to say this is my least favourite of the three. And it's still amazing. So yeah, the likeness to Peter Cushing is absolutely on point there. From the shape of the face, the nose, the sculpting of the hair is absolutely spot on. No visible seams here. There's browns in there, there's slightly lighter areas, lots of different shades of brown in there, and then picking out the individual strands themselves. The application of the skin texturing paint almost is really, really good, particularly around this neck area. If the camera's catching it, there are creases in the neck area around the Adam's apple. The shading is really nice. It's not completely even. There's sort of hints of red around the nose. Those teeth are really, really well done. They've got a glossy pearlescence to them, which is really good. Eyes are nice and glassy, the right colour, blue. There are furrows in the eyebrows there. Overall, absolutely on point. Unmistakably Peter Cushing. and a fantastic head sculpt. Although I have to say, probably not my least favourite of the three. But yeah, so that's swap out head sculpt number 1. Let's take a look at the second one. I believe this is the more passive look. Right, let's get this now. Yeah, this is most certainly more like my preferred head sculpt. I think this one is absolutely phenomenal. Mouth closed, no teeth showing. There's sort of that steely determination. We'll try and get this as close into camera as possible so you can see the quality of the shading and the paint applications here is really, really good. There's a hint of a 5 o'clock shadow going on there. There's some pinky reddy applications around the neck area, around the ears, on the cheeks. Overall, yeah, stunning paint applications from Kautic Plastik here, and some phenomenal sculpt work here. Really, that is unmistakably Peter Cushing. There isn't a bad angle on this one. This is damn near perfect as far as I'm concerned. That is, I think Hot Toys Moff Tarkin, I think is a superb Cushing head sculpt. I think this one could give it a run for its money. Obviously, it's a much younger Cushing we're looking at here, but yeah. So that is the second of the 2 head sculpts, and I think so far my personal favourite. So yeah, so that's Professor Van Helsing. Let's jump over to Christopher Lee. Let's start with the hands as we always do. Once again, there's a pair on the figure itself, which we'll take a look at when we bring him out. So let's grab these hands at random. These are a lot more expressive than the Van Helsing hands here, for obvious reasons. We've got pointing fingers. We've got sort of open, well, slightly half open, half closed palms, almost gesturing hands. Two pointing fingers, and then gripping hands as well for the other accessories. We'll take a look at a couple at random, and let's try and get this right into the camera here so you can see this. I think this is absolutely amazing. I've got to say, those of you who've seen my Nosferatu review, I think, and anyone who's a regular to the channel knows this thing I've got going on with my 6 scale hands, and I think I'm going to put my hand up here and put my neck on the chopping block. I think Kautic Plastik do the best 6 scale hands, hands down, forgive the pun. The Nosferatu hands were absolutely phenomenal, and I think that was down to the sculpt and paint application here. But what we've got, and if you try and get this into shot here so you can see this, and you can actually feel it, there's a rough skin texture there, almost a dried out texture to the skin that doesn't make it look dead. It's not as though it's zombie makeup, but it's just enough to give it that hint of something that's not fully alive. And it's rough to the touch. It's just really amazing paint applications and sculpt here. The veins are picked out really, really well. The knuckles have got some reddening to them. There are fingernails with cuticles, and I'm going to try and get the camera to focus on that. Yeah, very rare. Do you see this in a 6 scale figure? There's some red touches to the end there to give it that depth. You've got the Dracula signet ring on the pinky finger there. Just overall, and I know I'm wobbling on about these hands, but these are absolutely stunning. They really are. And as I say, regulars to my channel will know my thing about 6 scale hands. These are, as I say, I think these are probably the best 6 scale hands I've seen. I'm going to stop wobbling on about them now, but yeah, you've got the same give here, so it's a soft to medium as well. So great for gripping those accessories. You've got a gripping hand here, which I'm going to be assuming is for the candlestick over there. Same level of paint application and texturing again. The sort of pointing finger hand, and here you can really, with this palm open, like you can really get a good idea of the detailing going on here. And those pinky, there's pinks in there, there's blues in there. Yeah, I'm going to stop wobbling on about these hands, but yeah, absolutely, I think they are the best hands I've seen in 2024 so far. So yeah, we're going to put those to one side. Let's take a quick look at the candlestick before we jump in with the head sculpts. The candlestick that comes with the Christopher Lee figure is all one piece of sculpted plastic. Once again, the base of this has got that same paint application or similar paint applications to the candlestick with the Van Helsing figure to give it that patinaed metal look. And as I said, with the candlesticks, from a distance, you would be forgiven for thinking that this is actually metal. Really, really well sculpted, really well painted, and then you've got the candle on the top with some dripping wax in the bottom there, and some paint applications on the tip there to give it that lit up look. And there's even down to, and it's subtly done this, the wax running down the candle. Sometimes when you see 6 scale plastic candles, they overcook it with the drips that run down the side, and you get huge sort of globules, if you will, running down the side. Here it's a lot more subtle, and that's a lot more pleasing to my eye. But yeah, that's the candlestick. And finally, the 2 swap out head sculpts. Unfortunately, there aren't 13 head sculpts as promised on the box. There's only the 3, but we'll soldier on anyway. Let's pick one at random. We'll start with the angry head sculpt. Let's get this into shot. Right, so first impressions on this one. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. This is it's the same high standard as the Van Helsing head sculpt. Skin texturing on point. The skin hue is exactly right for the character. The hair is really well done. It's that almost jet black and high gloss that Christopher Lee's hair was around that time, with the hints of grey starting at in the forehead and the temples there and around the ears. The shading and skin tones on here are outstanding. They really are. Around the eyes there, you've got the 5 o'clock shadow. You've got the high gloss blood paint effect running down from the teeth. The mouth is open and looks wet. Yeah, just really, really well done. Those teeth are exceptionally well sculpted. The fangs are on point, tipped with blood. The eyes have got that bloodshot look to them. The creasing on the forehead and around the nose, all spot on. Yeah, I'm not going to wobble on too much about this. That is a fantastic head sculpt. It really, really is, and unmistakably Christopher Lee from any angle. So let's take a look at the other one. I think this will probably be the more passive of the 3. Yeah. Now, once again, I think as with the Van Helsing head sculpt, this passive look I think is probably my personal favourite. I'm not going to go through all the details again, apart from the fact that those lips have got a nice gloss to them and those eyes are spot on. That I am struggling to find words. I think that's perfect. That's pretty close to perfection. That's pretty close to 1/6 scale perfection, if there is such a thing. There is not an angle where that isn't Christopher Lee from the Horror of Dracula. Profile is perfect, straight on. Yeah, absolutely. That angle there, that is uncanny. It really is. Superb work from Kautic Plastik here. Absolutely on point. So yeah, I'm not going to bang on about that one too much, because I could sit and look at this one all day. That is incredible. So there you have it. That's the 2 spare Christopher Lee, or swap out, should I say, Christopher Lee head sculpts. The only other thing that you get with, well, actually, there's 2 more things, but we'll take a look at this first. With the Christopher Lee figure comes the coffin. Now I'm going to move as much of this stuff out of the way as I can so we can get this thing into shot. Now, people who own Kautic Plastik figures will know this, who have bought their Bela Lugosi or the Nosferatu, that they do include coffins with this. It was great to see straight out of the box that they've gone the Nosferatu route and chosen to do this in plastic. As much as I like the polystone coffin that comes with the Bela Lugosi figure, it weighs a metric ton, and I display in Detolfs, and I live in mortal fear that one day it's just going to go straight through the shelf itself and end up somewhere it shouldn't be. So I was really pleased to see that they've gone the plastic route with this coffin. But yeah, straight away the screen accuracy is on point, the scale is right, paint applications are correct. I'd say all plastic here, so relatively light. You've got sculpted plastic handles around the side here with a nice paint application to give it that sort of brassy, coppery, goldy look, that metallic feel, and there's one at the top and the bottom as well. Lifting the lid off, and you've got this sort of brass again, stroke gold cross on the top here. Well, I would say it's a cross, it's more of a star shape. Then you've got the Dracula plaque there. Once again, I believe that is plastic. yeah, that's sculpted plastic, but it's got paint applications on there and washers to give it that slightly aged look, not too aged. And then you've got Count Dracula etched in there, and with some paint applications to give it that depth as well, to give it that sort of plaque-like look. So yeah, that's the lid, relatively light. And then inside the coffin, now this is very, very similar to the Lugosi coffin. The interior of this coffin, although it looks material, it isn't. It's sculpted plastic, and it's just really, really well done. So from a distance there, you think you're looking at some kind of linen or cotton, but it isn't. And there's an edging round here. Now, I believe that is actually material. I'm not sure whether that is actually plastic or... No, I think that is material. So this lace effect that runs the around the lip of the interior all the way around is actually... It feels like a lace. I'm sure someone will correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. But yeah, that is actually material. Which has been stuck onto the plastic. The pillow itself has got an edging to it, which is sculpted plastic, and there's indentation in there. So if you're wanting to display the Christopher Lee figure lying down in the coffin, you can do that. You can have him halfway out. You can have him pulling the lid back. You really the options are for display. Are numerous, shall we say. But yeah, I'm really liking this. Love that internal work they've done there to make it look like material. Love this edging, and probably more than anything, love the fact that they've gone the plastic route here. So yeah, I can sleep at night knowing that I'm not going to wake up to a Detolf in 1,000,001 pieces. So yeah, that's the coffin, and that is all the accessories. Almost, he said. There are a couple of others which I believe are... Well, they're not technically accessories. These are freebies that come with the exclusive edition and thrown in by Kautic Plastik. I'll just open the one so we can take a look at it. A couple of t-shirts. Now, I've not opened these yet, so we'll just get one out so you can get an idea of what we're looking at here. And yeah, we'll open this up. And not dissimilar to I think you got one of these with the John Wayne figure. I never opened that one, but yeah, you get a t-shirt. It's a large. I think you just get the one size. I don't know if I'm going to get all this in shot. This is not a clothes review channel, but that's the image that you get on the front of the t-shirt itself. Obviously, it's lifted directly from the box. It's that graphical representation of Van Helsing with that sort of smoke stroke ink blot effect around the sides there. It says Horror of Dracula at the bottom, and you get one for Dracula as well. So yeah, nice little touch there from Kautic Plastik, throwing in some t-shirts as well. So there you have it. That's everything that comes with the figures. So without further ado, let's bring both of them out. In fact, no, we'll do this one at a time, and then we'll pair them up at the end. We'll start with the Van Helsing figure. So we'll get him out of the box, onto the stand, onto the turntable, and have a close-up look at him. Okay, so here he is. It's Professor Van Helsing himself, aka Peter Cushing from the Horror of Dracula. Out of the box, onto the stand, onto the turntable. First impressions. Blown away. Very rarely does this jaded collector anyway have the breath taken away from him, but trust Kautic Plastik to do it again, and it looks like another home run. But we'll do what we always do. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up. The proportions look spot on. The tailoring looks absolutely on point. Head sculpts we've already covered, but we'll cover this one as well. Yeah, it just looks nailed on. First impressions are phenomenal, but we'll stop him from spinning and we'll get him closer into camera so we can have a look at the details on this. Yeah, bring him back round. We'll just touch on this base. Sometimes Kautic Plastik bases and their magnetic stand option or solution, shall we say, sometimes can be a little bit off with them not gripping particularly well. This one's pretty good, as you can see. It's holding on, because sometimes you give these a bit of a shake, a bit of a wobble, and they give way, and it's down to the positioning of the magnets. But it looks like they've nailed it on here, Kautic Plastik, so that's good to see. So we'll get him off this stand and get him into camera and take a close-up look at the details. We'll start with the feet. Now, the shoes themselves are sort of this Oxford style sculpted plastic shoe on a peg joint straight into the ankle itself. No socks here. Oh, there are. Oh no, they're not. No socks. Would have been nice to see some socks, but because of the way these trousers fall, and I don't think we're going to have any fantastically dynamic poses that those ankles are ever going to get exposed. But it would have been nice to see socks, but it's not a deal breaker. Good to see real laces here, not sculpted either. Some sculpting in of the soles there as well to give that authenticity. Moving up now, we'll take a look at the. I'm actually going to open this coat. We'll take a look at the trousers, the pants first, before we open this coat up. Because this coat is truly spectacular. You've got these grey pants, he's wearing a grey suit underneath, and straight away, the first thing that struck me when I felt the material here is the quality of the cotton that's been used in this suit. The stitch work is absolutely on point, and as we've come to expect from Kautic Plastik, these seams are great. That grey is screen accurate. I'm going to undo this coat. We'll move up to this coat, but I'm going to undo it so we can see the suit underneath. Now, these are snaps here, and I'm not the world's biggest fan of snaps. I've got to be honest with you. They are fiddly, and I am always in fear of breaking them, but we'll go for it here. Actually, it's worth commenting on this coat before we open it up. The cut, the style, the stitch work, the screen accuracy is all on point, but what really got me was when I first picked this figure up, is this feels like velvet. Now, I know it's probably not velvet, it's probably a brushed cotton meant to simulate velvet, but it just feels so luxurious. And once again, as I say, that screen accuracy is there. Just the cut is phenomenal, down to the stitched in buttons, the pockets here, the way that the coat itself is fitted with these seam lines, just beautifully tailored. The length is perfect. It doesn't look too bulky, and I'm assuming it's over a suit here. It's a dust magnet. I mean, literally, this is straight out of the box and it's already picking up bits of dust, but I can live with that. A soft horsehair brush will get rid of any little bits and pieces that get caught on there. The creasing in the back here, the way it falls, just all on point. I've got a distinct feeling that this is going to turn into another gush fest, but yeah, it is what it is. You move up this coat, you've got this fur collar, this faux fur collar. Once again, completely screen accurate. I'll try and get this in as close as possible. Just falls really well. The colour is right, and you can see that scarf underneath there, which is once again screen accurate. Let's undo the rest of these studs, and as I said, this is not my happiest moment with these things, but that's come apart relatively easily. And let's take a look underneath. So yeah, obviously you've got that scarf there as well, which is folded over. That just feels like another brushed cotton again. Let's just remove that so we can see what's going on underneath. Well, we'll put it to one side. Now, obviously this is straight out of the box. It's been quite tightly packed, so I think these creases will probably fall out. I'm wondering if this is studded as well. Yeah, we've got more snaps here, so I'm not going to go any deeper than this. Well, let's throw caution to the wind and let's go all in. If we're going to do a deep dive, then let's do a proper deep dive. So, as I said, though, these things frighten me because they are so incredibly difficult to undo, and then so difficult to get back on sometimes. But yeah, you've got that double-breasted effect going on, and you lift that layer off, and as I said, there's going to be some creasing here because this is straight out of the box, but underneath that you've got this red, once again, brushed cotton waistcoat. Screen accuracy's there. It's got that contrasting cotton collar. You've got the red buttons down there, the black tie, the black shirt, the white shirt and the black tie, all screen accurate, all on point. The line, both the coat itself and the jacket are aligned. Yeah, just really on point here. I'm not going to take this coat off, but I'm just going to lift it across the shoulder here so you can just see the quality of the tailoring here. Yeah, I'm not going to display him without this coat on because this coat is so iconic, but I thought it was worth just having a look underneath here to see what Kautic Plastik have done with the rest of the outfit, and it is absolutely nailed on, as I had no doubt it would be. So we'll just loop that back over for the time being and close it up. I won't attempt to fasten those studs on camera. We'll that will take way too long, but I'll do that off camera before we go in for our final thoughts on this guy. So yeah, let's have a look at this head sculpt. But before we do that, let's talk articulation. The body feels of the same normal high standards that we come to expect from Kaustic Plastik, but we'll take a look at this. It's not as though this particular figure or character is going to be in any massively dynamic poses, but yeah, you've got double bend at the knee there, which is nice to see. So you've got a good range of motion there. I would imagine you'd be quite restricted with this jacket and coat on. It feels like, yeah, there's a butterfly joint there at the shoulder, which is good to see. Yeah, double bend at the elbow, so you can get some height on the arms here. You can get them really, really high. It's great to see there's a double bend there rather than just a single. So yeah, articulation is good. The joints are stiff, but there's good movement in there, good range of movement. It feels like a high quality body underneath this wonderfully tailored outfit. So yeah, let's go in on this head sculpt now. I think this is probably the one I'm going to be using. The hat itself, I'll bring the other head sculpt in at this point. I think what they've done here, Kaustic Plastik, and I'll try and get these both into camera. Yeah, I think this is pretty much identical. They've simply taken the passive head sculpt and attached a hat to it. The hat doesn't come off. It is sculpted plastic. It's not material. However, the paint applications on there are really nice to give it that material look. Sometimes you see sort of quite cursory paint applications on plastic hats to make them look like material, but this is really nice. There's black flecks in there, there's darker browns. The band is painted really well to give it that sort of satiny look, although it is sculpted plastic. And yeah, I just think well, I've already said all I think that needs to be said about this passive head sculpt. So it's not, I call it passive. It's not passive per se, but it does capture, though, as I say, that steely determination that Peter Cushing gave the role. So yeah, there you have it. Let's get him back onto the stand and go in for final thoughts on this guy before we bring out his nemesis. Might look a little bit untidy, but I'm not going to try and, as I say, try and do these snaps up on camera. Let's get him spinning again. We'll leave him slightly messy for the time being. So, final thoughts on Van Helsing. Superb. Simple as that. One word. Superb. I cannot find anything wrong with this figure. The proportions, nailed on. Head sculpt's phenomenal. The accessories that come with the figure, phenomenal. The materials that Kaustic Plastik have used, and the attention to detail. Once again, it's what we've come to expect from them, but it never gets old. This is the great thing about Kaustic Plastik for me, is every time I open the box, I know I am getting a figure that care, love, and attention has gone into. Yeah, it's a straight 10. I can't find nothing wrong with this figure. If I had to be niggly, I would say that I'm not overly keen on this head sculpt, but that's not because there's anything wrong with it. It's just simply because it's not my preferred head sculpt. So yeah, there you go. Van Helsing, 10 out of 10. So without further ado, let's move over to the Prince of Darkness himself, see if he can keep this high score going. Let's get him out of the stand and onto the turntable. Okay, so here he is. It's the Prince of Darkness himself. It's Count Dracula, aka Christopher Lee. Straight out of the box, straight onto the stand and straight onto the turntable. And first impressions, well, as with the Cushing figure, blown away. Absolutely blown away. Proportions look on point. Head sculpt looks phenomenal. The outfit absolutely nailed on. Yeah, it just looks it's superb. It's everything I expected it to be, which is a rare occurrence these days, I find, in the not just in the collecting world, but in the world in general. But yeah, that's enough of me wobbling on. Let's do what we always do. Let's stop this guy from spinning and take a close-up look at him. The proportions just look absolutely nailed on. I really am impressed with this from the get-go. Once again, same attachment situation with the feet here on the magnetic stand. No problems at all. Good and solid. Although this one's giving a little bit. Yeah, this is perhaps not quite as secure as the Van Helsing one. This is sometimes the issue that you get with these Kaustic Plastik bases. It's a minor niggle, I suppose. I mean, once it's displayed, you've got it posed and displayed, it's not a problem. But yeah, they could be a little bit stronger. But for some reason, not an issue. It might be the positioning of the feet on this one. But this might be down to user error. But yeah, let's get him off this stand and take a close-up look. And as with the Van Helsing figure, the first thing that struck me was the coat on the Van Helsing figure, and here it's the cape. I absolutely love this cape and the way it falls. It is so accurate. The length is absolutely spot on. All you could see in the film was just his feet sticking out from underneath it. The material they've used here is it feels like a really high quality cotton. I'm glad to see they've not bothered with any wires in here. It didn't need wires. It's all about the fall with this cape. And how it drapes over the shoulders, so it's good to see they've gone that route. It's very simple but exceptionally effective. The quality of the stitch work around the edges there, really great, and a beautiful material. It falls beautifully. Obviously, once again, a complete dust magnet, but it's what we've come to expect with anything black in 1/6 scale. So let's open this up and take a look underneath and see what's going on. Straight away, the tailoring here looks absolutely on point. The body, the first thing that strikes me is the body here, because of the proportional differences here. Lee was a very tall gentleman, very long-legged, and they've caught that perfectly here. The suit is absolutely nailed on. Same high quality of material that you get with the Van Helsing figure, although it is a different material. It's slightly lighter. It's not as heavy, cotton. I'll say shoes. The feet themselves are pegged straight onto the body, as with the Van Helsing figure, but we've got this sort of almost Chelsea boot thing going on, which is screen accurate. All one piece of sculpted plastic here, with some nice detailing in the sculpt to give that stitch work effect, and around where the sole meets the top of the boot. Once again, you've got detailing underneath there, which is great to see. As I say, the stitch work, the fit, all on point. I'm not going to take this jacket off, and I think I don't know whether this is snap fitted. This jacket isn't snap fitted, so I'm not going to attempt to take it off. I'm assuming that's a 6 scale button going on there. But why you'd want to take this jacket off, I don't know, because this is the classic look that he sports in the film, and it never alters. But yeah, you've got a 3-piece suit going on there. The jacket itself is lined, same high quality of material as the pants there. Functioning pockets, I believe. Yep, you've got functioning pockets in there. You've got that stitch work up through the breast and chest area, which is correct and screen accurate. The cut is on point. The collar is right. The white shirt, black tie, absolutely nailed on. Just overall, yeah, it's 100%. Little bit of cuff showing, which is once again screen accurate. These are the other swap out hands that we didn't see when we were down on the table. These are sort of, how can I describe these hands? Well, open palm and expressive, shall we say? That's probably the best way of putting it. But yeah, we'll take a look at the back. We'll just move this cape over. Yeah, once again, that stitch work on point. Beautiful stitch work, I have to say here. Hands and stitch work, and they're two areas for me that are pet peeves when I come across a figure where the hands haven't been done properly and the stitch work hasn't been done properly, because it throws a figure off. You can have the best head sculpt in the world, but if your stitch work's off and your hands are off, it can make the whole thing look goofy. But they've got it absolutely nailed on here, and these hands once again are the same high standard. And it's simply a case of just pegging and unpegging these to get to swap them out. But yeah, onto this head sculpt. I think maybe a minor niggle as well is this this cord that's tying it. Looks a little bit too thick. Could have been a bit thinner. I'll have to refer back to the film to see how thick this cape tie was around his neck there. But yeah, I mean it looks okay. I'm not saying it's off. I would need to check, but yeah, still this cape is absolutely phenomenal and beautifully lined as well, as you can see, with this super shiny satiny material as well. But yeah, this final head sculpt, I'm loving this one, I have to say. Absolutely. Look, this is the best of both worlds for me. This sort of in-between head sculpt. The full-on grimace, and I shall bring that one in just for comparison here. I'll bring in the other two, because I think this is sort of, it's halfway between those two. If I can grab it, it just went off camera for a while there. It was rolling away into the distance. That's the full grimace, and I don't think that quite has that likeness. Maybe, I don't know. I think that it obviously is Christopher Lee, and it obviously it is spot on. But I think this is down to personal preferences. I'm preferring this one. I think these two are most definitely the ones I'll be using in the display, in my display anyway. So yeah. Same level of great paint applications, 100% Christopher Lee all over. I do like this sort of semi-grimace, just about to completely bare the fangs, with the bloodshot eyes and the shading under the eyes there. Those teeth are beautifully painted, as are the lips. The whole head sculpt just works for me, that one. I think, yeah, without a doubt, these two are my favourite of the three. So yeah, there you have it. That head sculpt nailed on as well. So we'll get him back onto the stand, get him spinning again. I'm not going to do final thoughts here, because I think we need to compare these two side by side. So what we'll do next is we will bring out Van Helsing, pair these two up, and go in for final thoughts of the overall package itself. Okay, so here they are, both together. It's Count Dracula and his nemesis, Professor Van Helsing. How do these two guys look together, and final thoughts? Well, yeah, they're fish and chips. They just go together like, well, they go together, let's put it that way. They just work. But final thoughts on them. I've already had my final thoughts on the Van Helsing, but it's worth repeating on this one. Pretty much not a thing can be found wrong, in my opinion, on these figures. Probably a couple of personal niggles, which I can, but they're down to my taste more than anything else. But yeah, proportions absolutely spot on. The materials used, perfect. Screen accuracy 100% nailed on. The clothing, the stitch work, the outfits, the head sculpts, and that's where the only real niggle I have comes, and that, as I say, is personal taste. Is there's one head sculpt which I like less than the other two, and if I had to be really picky, I would say that I think Kautic Plastik could come up with a better solution on the positioning of the magnets in these bases. It's still a little bit haphazard. I think they could come up with a better solution there. But once again, that's me trying to find something to complain about, and I'm not really complaining, because I mean, once you do find the sweet spot with those feet, it's not an issue. But yeah, everything else, head sculpts, materials used, screen accuracy, as I said, everything is 100% on point. And when I can't find anything wrong with the figure, as regulars to the channel will know, it's a 10 out of 10 all the way. In fact, I will go as far as to say these are now very strong contenders for Figure of the Year. I know we're only in the beginning of September, so there's a way to go yet, and there's many more to come in, but so far, yeah, these two are looking like they're heading for the top spot, but we'll wait and see on that one. So yeah, all it remains for me to say is I hope this review's been useful for you, and I hope you've enjoyed watching it. Are these figures something you've already got in your collection? Is it something you're thinking of picking up? Have you got it on pre-order? You're waiting for it? Anything at all? What do you think of these figures? I'd be absolutely fascinated to hear your take on this. Are they as good as I think they are? Are Caustic Plastik up there? What's your take on Caustic Plastik? Please drop a comment in the comment section below. Comment on those head sculpts. Comment on the screen accuracy. Comment on anything and everything. I would really like to hear from you. So yeah, drop a comment in the comment section below. And I suppose all it remains for me to say is, oh, what's coming up on the channel? Yeah, almost forgot, as I always do. What have we got coming in? Well, in the not too distant future, we have got Hot Toys Kid Pool. he's on his way to us. From X06, we've got Savick and Krug from Star Trek. From Present Toys, we've got a raft of stuff. We've got Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men, Ripley from Aliens, Kaneda from Akira. From Premier Toys, we have got Furiosa and Dementis from Furiosa and Mad Max Saga. We've got the Doof Warrior Deluxe Edition from Mad Max Fury Road. We've got the Interstellar Double Pack. In the quarter scale world, we've got Prime 1's N52 Batman statue, and Prime 1 and Blitzway's Paul Atreides statue. We have got a boatload of NECA 110 scale figures, new and old coming in. We've got retro reviews coming in, coming up, showcases. A whole boatload of things. So like I said at the top, please mash that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing anything. And all that remains for me to say is from Caustic Plastik knocking it out the park again, from Peter Cushing as Van Helsing, from Christopher Lee as Count Dracula. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves. Happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.